Apple introduced the first generation AirPods back in 2016 along with the iPhone 7, and the long-awaited second generation is finally here. We got a glimpse of it during the 2018 WWDC, but it never materialized. We suspect this was due to the AirPower charging mat, which remains absent despite the shipment of the second generation AirPods. The AirPod 2 is offered in the UK at 3 different price points, but more about this a little later. There isn't a whole lot of change to the physical appearance compared to the original AirPods. The AirPods themselves and the case it comes in are virtually identical to the original. The new AirPod comes equipped with the H1 chip replacing the W1, improving talk time by an hour and 30% reduction in gaming latency. However, the biggest talking point is the ability to activate Siri by voice. You'll need to upgrade your iOS to version 12.2, which was made available at the same time as the shipment of these devices. Now, let's take a look at the unboxing. So, here's the box. Very nice. And as you can see, or hopefully see, that the AirPod picture itself is slightly elevated from the box itself, kind of a pseudo 3D effect. Quite nice. And the back of it, essentially no difference really. You might just see the little green indicator, the LED indicator on the front of the case now, which is the only differentiating point from the original. So if I quickly take this out, very nice packaging as ever, but put that to one side. The AirPods, again, let's take that out, put that down for a second. Anything else in here? Yes, the lightning cable, charging cable, always very nice to have one. Looks pretty identical to the old one actually, so nothing really different. So put the box away. So the AirPods themselves, again, looks pretty identical to the old one. Let's take the wrapping off. Now I've got mine engraved, so forgive my ugly makeshift mosaic work, just to cover or maintain some privacy. Here's the original AirPod first generation in my right hand, and in my left hand the second generation. Again, as you can see, it's pretty much identical except for that LED light at the front. I can actually feel that it's actually slightly heavier, not just because of the paper I put on the front, but the back of it again looks pretty identical to me. The hinge mechanism is ever so slightly different between the two. You could probably see the two little dimples there, which isn't on the original one, but again, hardly a difference. And yet the button position is lower in the first generation and slightly higher in the second generation, but all cosmetic stuff. Okay, now let's take a look at some of the changes in the second generation AirPods. First, the weight. So I said I thought the second generation is slightly heavier than the original, so I'm just going to check that. So this is the first generation iPod. Put that on, see how much that weighs. 46 grams. Now if I put the second one on, again, I know I've got a piece of paper on here, but it shouldn't make that much difference. 48. So maybe it is a gram heavier. I'm not sure if the paper itself was 1 gram, but shouldn't have added that much weight to it. So it actually feels heavier, but only 2 grams. The biggest change, of course, is the ability to call up Siri without touching the AirPods. This works very well, but note that now you don't get the Siri activation sound when it's listening, so once you call Siri, continue with the command. The voice-activated Siri means that the setup screen now has a slightly different default,
but as you can see, you can still tap to activate Siri if you want to. Now let's take a look at the speed difference of the H1 chip compared to the W1. Here I'm going to show the difference in the connection speeds between the two chips. Whilst the improvements are subtle, it is noticeable.
So now let's see if the pairing process is exactly the same. I expect it to be so. So open it up, and there you can probably see it registering. So I tell it to connect, and done. There you go. It was as simple as the original, and I think it's actually a lot quicker than the original as well. I mean, I do notice these days that when I turn on my first generation ones, it does take slightly longer for the icon to appear. See? Again, not a massive difference, but it is slightly longer. So it seems that the H1 chip, which has replaced the W1, does seem to be slightly more efficient, certainly with the connection.
Finally, let's take a look at the wireless charging case in action. Here I'm using the Belkin wireless charger, but if you're already using a Qi charger for your iPhone, that should work just fine. Just pop your new AirPods on any wireless charger and voila, there you go. There are 3 buying options available from which to choose from, with the price ranging from £79 to £199. If you're a fan of the original AirPods, but your battery case is not holding the charge anymore, it might be worth you considering the case-only option for £79. If you want all the new functions, including the voice-activated Siri, but don't want to pay the £200 premium, then consider the £159. You get everything except for the wireless charging. If you are all in, then spend £199. There's a lot of talk on the net about how disappointed people are with the AirPods, as it doesn't have the new design, health features, improved sound quality, etc. etc. This is a point release for the AirPods, and it would be hard to think that Apple won't show us a significantly upgraded version at some point in the future, but for now, this is a good upgrade for the original AirPod owners, and if you were always interested in the AirPods and always wanted one, this is a nice refresh to get your hands on.